It's officially day 2 of our Maine trip, and I'm gonna be honest, I was so excited about day 1 that I totally forgot to film anything this morning. But we're back on track, and we started the morning at Bayside American Café, and wow, it was worth the wait. Crazy vibes, amazing food, and the toast, oh my god, absolutely massive. Like, use it as a pillow, massive. It was the perfect start to the day we'd been looking forward to the most. The highlight of our trip, hands down, was the Sterling Rope Factory. This wasn't just a cool stop, it was the whole reason we came to Maine in the first place. This was Keegan's Christmas present, and for someone who is obsessed with ropes and strings and knitting and climbing and all sorts of things like that, this was his version of Disney World. We kicked it off by surprising the Sterling team with some fluffy Feather Farm merchandise. They were so kind and welcoming. From there, we dove into this full behind-the-scenes tour. Every rope they made is precision engineered and goes through intense testing, tension, strength, abrasion, water exposure, even UV resistance. It was so cool. We learned about dynamic ropes, which are made to stretch and absorb shock during a fall, and static ropes, which don't stretch and are used for things like hauling and rappelling. These aren't just hobby ropes. They are used by climbers and rescue teams and military units around the world. Watching Keegan light up asking questions and geeking out over the fiber core and the braiding patterns, oh my god, that alone made this whole trip worthwhile. And just when we thought it couldn't get any better, they let us try a short climb on their rope system. Suited up, hands on the ropes, feet off the ground. It was so cool and such a great way to feel what the Sterling ropes were really made of. I think we all were all smiles at the end, just like Keegan. After our adventure in the morning, we made our way to this cozy little diner that Daddy Mike had picked out for us. It's the kind of place that feels like it's been there forever because, well, it had been. With only 20 seats in it, it felt warm, familiar, and oh so full of character. It gave us a chance to just sit down, eat some great food, and reflect on our morning. Slow and simple, just how we like it. And then we had to satisfy our sweet tooth. The Old Port Candy Shop was packed with barrels of treats, vintage signs, and that classic, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory candy store smell that hits you the second you walk in. The only rule, no limits. We definitely left with more than we planned. And zero regrets. Before dinner, we made a quick stop at the Harbor Fish Market. That salty air and old wood floors, the rows of fresh seafood, it all made it feel like a slice of Maine tradition. A short visit, but definitely one of those little details that made the day feel complete. Back at the hotel, we threw together a quick charcuterie board, just some snacks and a chance to wind down before dinner. I think these small, quiet pauses always end up being some of my favorite parts of these trips that we take together. Okay, guys, so end of day 2. Woohoo! What'd you think? Was today a fun day? Today was all about you, Keegs.
It was really fun.
So what did we do today?
We went to the tour of a rope factory.
We sure did, and you guys got to see that. And that was like super cool.
Oh yeah.
And we had a cool breakfast this morning. We got to go to a candy store this afternoon. We went to a really interesting fish market that I didn't really enjoy. But Daddy Mike and Caleb thought it was
I thought
neat.
it was cool.
Yeah. We hung out in the hotel room here and relaxed. And now we're going to go to dinner later on. But what was your favorite part of the day, Keeks?
Probably the tour of the rope factory.
What was your
Okay,
favorite
well,
part?
I kind of assumed that was your favorite tour. And look at the cool stuff they gave us. It was so neat.
They made these.
They made these right in front of us.
Literally, so cool. So what was your favorite part of the rope factory tour?
So the ropes were all designed, like with all the machinery and stuff.
So like watching them actually be made?
Yeah, like making these thin cords and then making these thick ropes.
And what was the most interesting thing that you learned today?
How long it takes to make them and like the long process. It's like nylon fibers. They weave it together into a thicker strand and then they weave those thicker strands together into bigger ones, and sometimes they'll do bigger ones or they'll do thin ones.
Yeah, it was really neat to see all the different machines and the different sizes of machines and the different sizes of ropes, and like how, I mean, a lot of the stuff was automated.
I couldn't believe, Keegan's right, I can't believe how long. I don't think we have an appreciation when we see a rope like this in the store, what it means to make this.
Well, yeah, when you go to the home store and you have like, there's like what, 16 feet of rope there, like that's the equivalent of this, and then there's thousands and thousands of other products. Like every one of those products has a warehouse or a machine or something that's behind it that produces that product. And just to think about like the work it took into making these, it kind of makes you appreciate all of the work that goes into all of the things that we purchase. You know, it's like mind-boggling. The whole place was dedicated to making ropes. And the cool thing, I thought the really neat thing is that they started with doing like ropes for sailboats and stuff, because we're in Maine. So like that's kind of where the company started, was like doing ropes for boats and rigging, and then they kind of morphed into these climbing ropes, and now what they're doing is like escape packs. So like right now, one of their largest producing products that they have are, let's say you're on a crane or the top of a really big windmill, or you're on a scissor lift or a window washer, and you have a problem. You have to get down. They make these packs that go onto all that equipment that have repelling devices on them that those people can wear. They can throw the ropes off. They can rappel off of those items in an emergency. Like, and so they've just transformed their business from one thing to the next and grown along the way. And now their business was acquired by another business, and like it just keeps expanding. It was really, I think that was the most interesting part.
I was so afraid that was going to be a demonstration that you or I were going to have to do. Oh my gosh. But speaking of demonstrations, I think my favorite part of today was the rope testing, where they showed us how they actually have this massive machine. I mean, like a hydraulic massive machine. One room is dedicated to this, where they pull tension on the rope, and watching how many pounds each rope was able to sustain. And we're talking like 6,000, 7,000, 15,000 pounds that some of this rope could sustain. It was really cool. Really crazy.
All right, so overall, you guys having fun on this trip?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so Portland, Maine, thumbs up or thumbs down?
Oh, total thumbs up.
Thumbs up. All right, so we're gonna go to dinner tonight, and we have one more day here, which is tomorrow, and we're gonna figure out something to do tomorrow, and then we're gonna take a little airplane back home to the farm and check out all the animals. So one more day, so stick with us, and we're gonna see our last day here, and then we'll wrap everything up. We ended the day with dinner at Scales, and it was unforgettable. The food was phenomenal, but honestly, what really stood out was the feeling around the table. Being together, sharing a meal, laughing about the little memories from the day. It reminded me what this is all about. These trips are more than just travel. They're memories. They're gratitude, emotion. That night, I felt full, not just from dinner, but from everything that came with it. Love, laughter, and the time well spent with the people I most care about.